Okay.
All right,
All
who's
right.
gonna? Who?
We're
Oh shit.
recording.
Yo, welcome.
Should I have done a
Welcome,
3,
welcome.
2, 1 next time? Sorry.
Yeah, 3, 2, 1.
So I was talking about me being gay, you know.
Wow, that was Raj. What was that? Care to explain yourself?
uh,
No, I'm gonna turn this whole whole thing on this now.
okay, we gotta cut that out because you know what I
Well,
mean. People might get offended.
maybe they would. You're right. No, I know you might be right. Actually, I'm paused.
All right. Hello.
Well,
We have
yo,
begun recording. This is the first take. No takes before that. We're a one take show.
we're one
Yeah,
take show, episode
one
2
take.
of the GOAT.
Episode 2 of the search for the goat. All right.
Well, we're
Oh.
fucking doing this.
Wait,
We're
we
recording.
gotta introduce ourselves so everyone
Well,
knows who's talking. I'm
well, who's
Sheik.
talking?
I'm
That was-
Sheik.
I'm Raj.
There you go.
Polios.
Well,
Cool.
Polios.
We
I
got
think
that
say
out the way.
Julios.
All right. So basically
today?
we wanted to make this episode after we had a lengthy discussion about
Yeah.
our last one.
God, look at a little heated. I yelled a lot.
Nah, it didn't get heated. It was a spiritual debate.
If this is in person, I think I would have beat up for Josh. I think.
You would have done that anyway. You're always beating up for Josh. That has nothing to do with movies.
I've
Yeah.
once seen you.
What?
We
What'd you
won't
see
talk
me
about it.
Yeah, I mean that's personal stuff. We won't get to that. But we had a huge, huge talk about why we're even doing this thing.
And it's like we neglected to talk about like what movies do we like?
Yeah, like
Dumbass.
yeah,
Like
we kind of made it into this whole thing about like what the fuck are movies and what is art and all that shit. But
Yeah,
it's
we were-
fun.
We were some like some.
It's not that deep.
philosophers or
That's
some
yeah,
shit.
that's all we're trying to say. So we're gonna take out some of the weird rules we had. So like we're gonna take out like the criterias.
Fuck the criteria.
Yeah, because that kind of like sparked this whole thing. I think any movie that we consider a movie, that we like is up for
Yeah.
grabs.
Sharknado. How about that one?
Honestly,
Absolutely.
that it has arguments. You know what I mean? You could like, yeah, we could do Sharknado if we ever get there.
no.
But yeah,
But yeah, keep going.
basically all movies are okay, and we're not gonna follow like a timeline
Yeah.
either, because
What-
like that would be too complicated.
Yeah, because how do I put it? I'm gonna be choosing the artsy movies on this podcast. Like I'm just gonna go
Yeah,
there
and that's
'cause-
fine. It's
yeah.
because you like those movies.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So, but why do we have to watch this every goddamn week? You
Right.
know?
I mean, like I don't have like the movies you've been giving us like have been a majority positive. You know what I mean? So like
Right.
I have no fault. But like again, we each have different perspectives, right? We each like different things. So we're just gonna like kind of list some of our favorite movies today, and like
Well,
hopefully-
we got that list.
Yeah.
It's in the. We have a chat for this, by the way, guys.
No,
So-
don't let them know about our inside business dealings.
Well,
This
there's a
is-
place where you two can read your lists. I have it right now.
Oh.
I'm looking at it. It's
Oh,
in
I
the
was
chat.
talking about lists.
Yeah, yeah. Whoever wants to start off, go ahead.
I'll be a quiet little mess. I'll be
I
because I'll have to. I'll go on and on.
okay. Who wants to go first?
Don't silence yourself, Cody. Now you have to be first.
Oh, you want me to go first?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. Let me pull my version. Okay. 1 second. Okay. All right. Here we go. You ready? All right. We're gonna start. Oh, yeah, I mentioned it last time. It's the Dark Knight movies are the three. That's
All
like
right.
just
Yeah.
like
Okay.
okay.
Sorry. I just
Go ahead.
put a little explanation
No,
into
well,
like the
that's
movies you
also
like or like the groups of movies you like.
right. Well, there is. So you said you're talking about groups, right?
Yeah, I mean like whatever makes it easier for you to
'Cause
get through this
no,
list.
because okay, so because again, I'm a big the superhero shit. Like that's how I got into these movies. Like there's
Yeah.
I hope I'm not repeating myself from last week. God, but it's a great
Yeah.
quote.
I mean like that's how we kind of became like close
Well,
friends
that's how
too.
we
It was the
exactly.
superhero movies.
That's exactly where it went. And no, so again, Chris Nolan who did these movies, he said, you don't get into cinema, you don't get into cinema because of like John Luca. That's the record. You said John Luca Dar. Like you get into them because of Bond. And like what did he grow up with? It was Bond.
Yeah, it was what James
God.
Bond,
That was kind of a
Indiana
big
Jones. Was it Indiana Jones?
He was too old. He was no, he wasn't. But he doesn't really talk about Star Wars. 2001.
Right. Yeah.
He was a Star Wars guy. He wasn't really big into Indiana Jones. He doesn't really. It's weird. He doesn't really talk much about Spielberg. But he's talked a lot about Bond, and Bond was. Yeah, you're not gonna get in the movies. Like I wouldn't get in the movies because I saw Requiem for a Dream when I was like 8, and that really like no, it's gonna be.
You watched Requiem for a Dream when you were 8 years old.
What
No,
the
but I did watch. I watched Sterling Blood. And
Did you like the dildo scene? That was probably your favorite part, right?
What's it called? I did watch Sterling Blood when it came.
Bro,
I was like 11.
Requiem for a Dream. Okay, I just want to say Requiem for a Dream is pretty fucking dark.
I haven't watched that to this day because it's so dark. You watched it when you were 8? Oh, you did? Okay, all right. You were joshing. All right, thank God.
I was joshing. But my point is, when you're 8, you don't really think of things like this is high art. This is you gotta, and that's the thing with
this explains so much about your life, Paul.
I'll tell you what about Dark Knight actually. When I first watched it, I didn't like it because I thought it was too artsy. And I just wanted to see Batman like punch the shit out of people.
That is why I liked it too. It felt different.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't that when I watched it. Even Batman Begins, like this feel because I was in Spider-Man. That was my intro. Spider-Man.
Yeah. Sam Raimi.
Yeah, no.
Sam Raimi Spider-Man. That's GOAT Spider-Man right there.
It is. No, and there's a reason. I mean,
Sam Raimi.
Yeah, no, because it's authentic. It feels so much more authentic than even the
Tobey
new
Maguire one, right?
Yeah, it feels a lot more like raw and cool and like it doesn't feel like there's like 10 guys in a studio going, how do we sell this best? Like it feels a lot more like I don't know.
Thing is, I feel like those movies are the movies that really made Spider-Man famous. You know what I mean?
They were.
Yeah.
So like if those movies never came out, Spider-Man would not be as big as he is right now.
Well, I'll say this: if I those are on my list of favorite movies. Like Spider-Man 2 is one of my favorite movies ever, for sure. That could be on my
2, Sam Raimi Spider-Man 2.
Exactly, that could be on. It's not on this list, but it could be.
Really?
I should watch that again.
No offense. Okay, no offense. I understand those are my favorite Spider-Mans too, but to me, they're not very well made movies. You know what I mean?
They're campy. There's like campy horror movies.
Guess what Sam Raimi did before he did Spider-Man was campy horror movies.
Right.
That's where it comes from.
That's pretty cool.
And Tobey Maguire in a lot of the acting places where it's very awkward, you know what I mean? But
which helps.
I like
Peter
that.
Parker.
I like that
Peter.
awkwardness.
Yeah. That's how Peter Parker talks.
He can't be
exactly.
The thing is, he portrayed the nerdy, fucking creepy idea way better than any other Spider-Man. You know what I mean?
I think the thing is with Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. All right, this is completely divulged.
Yeah, how do we divulge into this? Keep going.
Because this is important because like this is where I'm coming from at movies. Right. It isn't from the place of like, yes, when I was 8 years old, I watched Joan of Arc and was like, blow my mind.
Yeah.
Like no,
I watched Citizen Kane drinking my wine at 4.
Tobey Maguire is a good Peter Parker. He's not a good Spider-Man.
But to me, that's not important. I don't need a good Spider-Man because Spider-Man's it's a mask.
It's an idea.
Yeah, yes, I don't need you to be a good like, wow, I'm really funny and cool. It's like that's not the point of Spider-Man. It's the point is, but you're right. That's and I love Andrew Garfield and he's a great Spider-Man. Like that's fucking Spider-Man.
Yeah, but when he's Parker, Spider-Man, he's cool.
I'll say this: he in the first movie, he was pretty good at being awkward for like the first half. And then he got cool because he was dating Emma Stone, who's like, you
can't date Emma Stone.
Yeah, you can't date Emma Stone and be like,
my life sucks.
No, you can't.
All right, what else is on your list?
So there's because Dark Knight trilogy, like to me, that's what got me into this stuff. And it's I do that again. I went to school for this. It's a thing that inspired me more than any other thing was these fucking movies. So it's a benchmark for me. But yeah, so and again, I was conscious of that, so I left off all the other superhero shit off the list.
How many, like number wise, how many other superhero movies were there?
I love if I was more honest, probably a lot more. But this is a top 10, so it doesn't have to be like the top my super ultra top 10. It's just a top 10. Yeah. Looper. These are 2 others. Looper and Manchester by the Sea. I've been just looking at them recently, and they've just been on my mind a lot, and they're great movies.
I haven't watched either of them. What do you like about them?
Looper is like if you're talking perfect sci-fi movie, it's that. Like everything just it's like it sings so well in terms of just it's like a really just well-crafted sci-fi movie. I like it more than Terminator. I like it more than like especially it's a small sci-fi movie. It's not Batman. It's rather contained, but it feels like I don't know. There's certain scenes where it's like it's hard to talk about when I actually talk about the actual movie, but there's just some scenes that just feel like it's the Blade Runner thing where it's like this world goes on and on and on. But it's also just it has great characters, there's great character moments, there's a great story. It's just a great fucking movie. Manchester by the Sea, it's a great movie about dealing with grief you can never really get over. And that's not really been done before, I don't think. I mean, I'm sure it has, but just the way it's a rare subject and it does it so raw and so true. It's a character all the way movie. There's not much of a plot, but you never. I don't know. It's an example of great character writing, for sure. Which is why it's on here. There Will Be Blood is. I think that I don't have No Country for Old Men on here, but I don't want to spoil who does. But one of you guys has it on.
Yeah, he's definitely spoiled it. There's like 2 options.
There's 2, but so that movie, There Will Be Blood. I think I might be repeating myself from last week, but those 2 movies I think are very big in terms of like our generation seeing movies as more than movies, as seeing them as this is an art form, because that's something you don't get from like so again to use the Nolan thing where it went from Bond to Godard. Like that's not saying these movies are like Godard level. Like, maybe they are, but it's that like that's when the switch happens. Like those are the movies I think cause a switch for a lot of people who went like, oh, I love Batman too. I love cinema. I love film.
Okay.
That's why it's on there. Whiplash. It's hard. Okay, so I was gonna get into this because we talked about it a little bit before, but Whiplash. It's hard to put because it's again as someone who's an who is a creative, I guess, or tries to. It's like the ultimate statement of what it means to be a creative. It's like it's cheating if you put Whiplash because there's no other purpose to that movie other than going, here's what it's like to be a creative.
This is what you got to deal with Yeah, I mean, like I really like that movie too, and it does feel very real to yeah, first a creative career path. But does it like almost glamorize it too? Like makes it seem like, all right, this is what you like, this is how you got to deal with this shit.
It does, but it doesn't, because it does say, do you think it's worth it to go through all this horrible shit? And like you
Right.
come up, basically it's asked the question, can you keep your soul? Actually, it's actually a Bible quote. Who I found this out from of all places, if you know your football at all, Tony Dungy, who coached the Indianapolis Colts and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who won a Super Bowl a few weeks ago. He has a quote on his Twitter. Where is it? It's Mark 8:36, which is basically for what does a man profit? What does it profit a man to gain the whole world but forfeit his soul? That's Whiplash, basically.
Okay,
so what does it
okay.
mean to become the greatest artist and have no soul? What does that mean? It's also what The Godfather is about, actually, like Breaking Bad too, in a way. Oh, that's also, again, I do see connection with like Godfather, Breaking Bad, because Breaking Bad's my favorite show. I mean, it's a very typical thing for someone of my age to say, but it is.
I fuck with Breaking Bad.
Well, it's Macbeth too. It's kind of, it's a common idea in literature.
Yeah, like how far are you willing to go for
what you want, and what does it cost? What does it cost you? So that's why it's on here. Again, it's like I would say it's probably my number 2 behind those Batman movies, I'd say.
Oh wow, so these are ranked?
If I were to rank them, if I were to rank 2, it would be the Batman movies and then Whiplash, and then who the hell knows?
You know what? I'm gonna watch Whiplash now because
you didn't watch it. I thought you recommended it to me.
Did I? I mean, I did hear about it being good, but honestly, after watching the clips of it, I was kind of put off. But I don't know why it put me off. I guess it's because I mean I don't want to get into it. But yeah, I'll definitely check it out because
it's I'm being time conscious because I know we
exactly.
But it's a great, I would highly recommend it because it's just it's a wonderful, horrifying ride in this jazz drummer's life.
Is it based on true stories?
Sort of, yes, actually. In a context like it could go on and on and on, but yes, it's based on Damien Chazelle's years as a jazz drummer in high school, and there's a lot of like Buddy Rich sprinkled in there too, and just jazz like music culture basically.
R.I.P. Buddy Rich, man.
Exactly. Eternal Sunshine.
Is he dead? Is he dead?
He is dead.
Okay, go ahead.
Buddy Rich is dead, but movies don't die. Eternal Sunshine is alive. It's a great movie. It's on here.
You know who else died?
Who else died?
Neil Peart.
He did die almost exactly. Rush drummer. Very sad.
Okay, but anyways, keep going. Eternal Sunshine.
Well, no, because Neil Peart was influenced by Buddy Rich in a big way.
Exactly.
Who wrote Eternal Sunshine?
Charlie Kaufman, who's if I had a favorite writer, I might say Charlie Kaufman. The way he thinks about, like, it's just it's so hard to explain why he's so good, but I guess that's why you watch these movies, is you can't really put in the words. But he wrote this.
We all watched Eternal Sunshine, right?
Yeah, I liked it. I love watching Jim Carrey be serious. It's really
he's amazing in it, and it just tells this again. And it's also, I don't know, it's a personal experience movie because I went through a breakup like this, and I went through the whole like getting back together thing, and it's a very weird process. And this movie, more than any movie I've ever seen, does it so well. 500, yeah, exactly. 500 Days of Summer, same thing, where it's like if you lived, or like especially our age, where it's like, I guess this was high school for me. I went through this in high school, and that was another movie that just explained like, okay, this is what happened to me. That's why it's on the list, and it's a great fucking. I recently did rewatch 500 Days of Summer for a movie I was supposed to work on my own time, and it it just holds up really well. It's just a great fucking movie. Same, I guess, similar to Manchester by the Sea. Like, there's no like, I mean, obviously it's a plot. There's no like, because again, like Batman, like that's very plot. Like Uber, it's very plot driven. It's very plotty. Even Whiplash is very plotty. It's like you're tracking this plot. This is just like two characters interacting with each other for 90 minutes. You know.
Right.
Again, it's probably more plot driven than Manchester, but I don't know. It's to me, it's like, okay, here's how you craft a small, intimate movie. So that's why it's on the list. Moonlight and Boyhood are also on the list too for the exact same reason. Moonlight, same shit. It's like, oh, this explains all the movies. The reason why I think we love them is because they explain ourselves to ourselves. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's probably the best way you can really explain it. And because again, I'm time conscious, I won't see anything more than that with these two movies, other than just Moonlight. Similar stuff. I had a similar mother, and I had a similar life experience to some extent with Chiron, the main character. I'm a white man. I am straight, but
Yeah.
but in terms of like sexuality and just trying to be comfortable inside your own skin, to me it's like that's how I get into his head, and it really works. Boyhood, similar. It's just literally the tale of growing up as a boy in America. Like, it's just that movie. It felt like watching myself grow up, basically. And I did rewatch that too, along with 500 Days, and both fantastic movies that hold up. Michael Clay. This is a weird one, but it's on here because this is not a top 10 like the greatest of all time for me. This is a top 10. It's not the top 10. It's a top 10. Because I asked him, like, Regis was right. It's just a very hard thing to do.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it is.
I know I'm filibustering.
It's
so
just a personal list, right? It's just a personal list.
It's basically, what are the movies that come to mind when you think great movies? That's the operating procedure, because that's what your guys' list are. And to get to them really quick, I'll just say Michael Clayton's my last entry, and it's just a great fucking movie. George Clooney is great in it. It tells a great story of redemption.
What was it again?
Michael Clayton. I actually never watched that.
It's the same year with Dearly Blood and No Country for Old Men. It was a stacked fucking year. Even at Bourne Ultimatum that year, more action variety. There was Assassination of Jesse James, which is a great movie. Juno was that year, which I did watch at age 10 and I really liked. In fact, that year actually was the year I did get in the movies a little bit more than I did in years past. But anyway,
what year was that?
2007. It was
2007.
Jon
How old were
Stewart.
you?
I was 11, and Jon Stewart hosted the Oscars that year actually, and I saw him on TV, and I was like, "Oh, a movie! They would do a movie award show." By the way, not even aware of who Jon Stewart was at the time. So, but yeah, that's my list, guy. Michael Clayton.
All right.
Great drama.
Raj, you're up.
Drama.
I'm up. Okay.
You got your list?
I'm getting it right now.
Yeah, so the other day when I was just chilling, right? And they're like, yo, what good movies do you know? Paul asked me. I was like, just come up with a list, right? So this is the 10 movies I came up with.
That shit was the hardest thing in the world. I was like sweating.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, yo, what if I say something? I'm like, dude, there's like 5 other movies better than this. Why would you?
Honestly, to me, I'm probably gonna think of other movies that are to me are better, but these are just the top 10 that came to my head straight off the bat. You know, Eternal Sunshine was a easy one for me because Eternal Sunshine, it was one of my favorite movies for a long period of time. I like the aspect of sci-fi in it. It's like a breakup story with sci-fi in it. It's such a cool.
Is like a very small part of it.
Yeah. It's cool concept. It's a cool concept because he's in his own head trying to save memories of his, loved one, even though he consciously tried to
even just
destroy
describing it. You get a little like, ooh, that's a great idea.
That's just. To me, that was amazing. He was, and while those memories were dissipating, he was just trying to hold on, and like memories are so you know, it just kind of showed you how much what memories really are, you know what I mean? And your
I
brain,
know.
how the human brain works, and what you think about another when you're in love, what is the thing that you're in love
What do
with?
you hold on to?
Is
Yeah.
those memories, right? And in
Yeah.
your head, those human being, it doesn't really exist. It's just the ghost of those memories. And it was kind of, it's still
That's a
like,
dark way of putting it, for
in a way
sure.
it is dark, but you know,
Yeah, it's a kind
and
of
I
sad
love
movie. Yeah.
I
Well,
love, yeah, go ahead. I love at the ending when they're like, should we do this again? And they were just like, "Mm,"
okay.
what did they say? They said no, right? Like, nah, fuck
Well,
it.
it's no, it's they say it's reverse. It's fuck it. Okay.
It's fuck it, okay, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, fuck, dude.
I gotta watch
Hey,
that again.
it was one of my favorites. Secondly, the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I'm just gonna put the whole trilogy in
Yeah.
there.
LOTR.
So I watched this movie when I was a kid, right? And it fucking blew my goddamn brains, right? Fucking, I remember
You
that was
told me
one,
this was the only movie you cried to.
dude. I was about to get to that. This is not, this is one of the I cried now that I'm older and I'm
You cried more?
less fucking scared to cry. You know what I mean?
No, I'm glad. I'm glad.
Yeah, like fucking when Frodo finally got to Mordor, bro.
When he pulled up with his
I
army.
cried a man tear of happiness. You know what I mean? Not of sadness, of happiness, of joy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm like, he did it. Frodo, you done did it. You know what I mean? And I was quite happy. And yeah, dude, it was such a great adaptation from book to movie. You know what I mean? It's if I were to pick one, it would probably be The Return of the King, right? That one was
I'm in a.
Last one.
I mentioned the Sheik before. I'm in a very Lord of the Ring phase right now, so
Yeah, dude.
I've been watching a lot of it lately. It's I just a little because I know you got to get the rest of your list, but I just want to say it's basically like
Yeah,
the
go ahead.
perfect it's the perfect fantasy story. Like it's the perfect
yeah.
superhero comic book sci-fi like hero's journey, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
That's
It's
kind of
like the
my
Godfather of
Yeah.
fantasy.
basically not even I go more. It's not just the God. I don't know. It's hard to explain how rich of a story and how like elemental it feels. Like I don't know. It's just something to it.
Yeah.
The best way I can
Like it
explain
could,
it. What? Like,
yeah.
what?
I said it could be almost like a religious story, almost,
No, it
right?
is.
Yeah, it is
It's
like it
Yeah.
has its
yeah.
religion and shit. It's all included.
Well, it feels because I've been trying myself to find like a story that's similar to it, and I've been going to just like literally like Homer and Virgil, like the ancient fucking
Yeah.
stories, basically, because that's the only thing that really matches it. Even more so like the Avengers movies and like you know the blah blah blah. But it's a worthy fucking thing, and yes, Return of the King is like it's the perfect action finale.
Dude,
Like
the
it's
fucking
hard.
battle scenes.
Are you kidding
The
me?
battle
Yo?
scenes still stand to this day.
Oh yeah,
It's
for
like
sure.
Oh,
dude.
like it's
crazy. If it came out yesterday, I'd be like, oh my God, these battle scenes are fucking amazing.
like there's
And some of the
nothing.
scenes in it, like when what they do really well in Lord of the Rings is make you feel like all is lost, like it's
Yes.
the end,
Yeah.
everything's over, and then a glimmer of hope on the top of a mountain.
That's the Jesus
Gandalf
shit. Yes.
comes through, you know what I mean? And you're just like,
That's
oh my
the-
God, chills in
Yeah.
my fucking
And you notice it
ass.
when they like start doing it in other fantasy. Like they do that shit in Game of Thrones. They do that
Yeah.
shit in like Narnia too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Interesting.
fuck them. Fuck those. They don't do it as well as Lord of the Rings.
Nah, I mean like
Okay.
Narnia came out at the same time, so I don't think they were copying.
Well,
Yeah,
they were
Narnia
friends,
was
too.
fine. Peter
Oh
Jackson,
no,
yeah, he
Narnia.
was
No,
great.
no, guys. You have to. Narnia came out because Lord of the Rings, for sure.
Yeah, in a way.
That did
I'm
really
talking
well.
about the books.
Oh yeah, the books were.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, unloaded minutes. Yeah. All right, good.
Okay. So
Okay.
next, let's do next I thought of was Big Lebowski, right? And Big Lebowski is one of those movies where you don't know why you love it as much as you love it, right? So during this time I was smoking a lot of weed, right? And I remember I would just love watching the Big Lebowski. I didn't know what it was about the Big Lebowski I loved so much. And I still to this day don't know, but I watched some analysis on it, what it was, why it was so great, right? And okay, so let's just talk about why I love it without the analysis.
Go
What I
ahead.
loved about it was the characters. The characters felt so real, so you could empathize with them like they're just like your neighbors down the block. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You followed this very everyman protagonist, Jeff Bridges, whose name is Lebowski, right? And you're following this, and this is like a stoner comedy slash, whatever. And it's a strange story about, a man that literally had nothing to do with a crime, and he just gets thrown into he just wants to be at home smoking weed, right? But he just gets thrown into this fucking dilemma,
Adventure.
right?
Yes.
Adventure.
Call to adventure.
It's exactly that. And then I watched analysis on it. This is actually a film noir, right?
Yes, no,
About
yes. Yeah, I was in it.
it's
I
it's a
was
it's
waiting to
a
say that.
mystery movie. It's a
Yeah.
mystery movie. It's like a what's but it's done with a protagonist who's a stoner, and
It's
and
yeah.
so that's why I love it so much. I
It's
couldn't
a
even realize
yeah.
that.
It's
It's
supposed
literally
to.
literally like perfect example of a film noir. And even the director says, like, yeah, we were trying to
Raymond
make a
Chandler.
stupid film noir is what we're trying.
Well, because the
And
thing
when I was
is,
watching it, that never correlated. It never went through
right.
my head what that it was that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
The Coen brothers are interesting because most of their movies, in some way, they do a lot of noir influenced movies.
yeah.
Breaking Bad, Vince Gilligan has mentioned them as being influenced on his own show.
Yeah.
You can see it, like Fargo feels very like Fargo, No Country for Old Men. No Country for Old Men is basically a film noir, more or less, also Western, but it's the roots. It's dark, pessimistic, oily, evil roots is all film noir, even though it's set in the West. And yeah, Big Lebowski is one of them. And the thing, because I was going to show you, Flash, did someone sneeze or was it a cough?
I was coughing.
Well, fuck you then.
Yeah,
No
fuck
flush
you,
for
dude.
you. Fuck you.
What if I'm
Because
dying
I
I,
from
don't
we
give a
hope you
shit.
die.
I hope you die. Absolutely.
you know what, guys? Maybe
But
I will die. No, okay, sorry.
don't die too soon, because our next
Oh yeah.
one of the movies I want to show you is there's two film noirs that when you say film noir, film noir. Oh, the detective movie. Big Sleep, Maltese Falcon. Both are infamous, and I did not know this until I watched them. They make no sense. They make no
Ah.
fucking sense. You watch them and you don't know what the fuck's going on. Like you're
Yeah.
watching what just happened.
I hate
Yeah.
that. That stresses me out so much, dude. When a movie does
Well,
that.
But yeah.
because the thing is, you're watching for the characters. You're not watching it to see what
Nah,
Humphrey
in my
Bogart
head,
does.
I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, you got too stoned and now you don't know what this movie's about, and you have to pretend like you do.
Well, hey, so don't you got too stoned? I know what the movie's about. Guess what Big Lebowski's for? I haven't watched Big Lebowski, by the way, which is weird.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I should
You
probably.
should watch the Big Thing about the Big Lebowski is it
Well,
wasn't considered as that great when it came
No,
out.
it's a cult movie.
It was like a sleeper where it was
Right.
like over time it became a cult classic. Like, oh
Well,
my
Yeah.
god, we forgot about this one. Like this
You know
one's
what? I
really
haven't
great.
watched it either, so maybe we should put it up on the list.
Oh dude, I'm down. I would watch Big Lebowski. I watched it at least 10, 15 times already.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Alright,
One of
what's-
the best stoner movies out there.
What else?
Okay, next. No Country for Old Men is next.
Oh, there you go.
Did you talk about it? No, you didn't. You talked about it, but you didn't.
And
Oh,
go
shit,
into it. No, I
you
didn't go
didn't go
into it.
Well, No Country for Old Men. One of my favorite things about No Country for Old Men was how simplistic the acting was, and they would use pauses so well. Right? These are just few things I noticed, and the use of music. There was no music in that movie, right? It was just drones or something like that, right? It was like there was no, but the lack of music added so much to it.
I
You know what
can't
mean?
really imagine the music to it.
You couldn't, because the weight of the acting was like so heavy without the music. You know what I mean? It was like, who's the guy? Who's the serial killer? I'm sorry. Who's the okay, whatever. A little spoiler.
Javier Bardem.
Javier Bardem.
Yeah.
That guy he did such an amazing fucking dude. That scene in the store that's still probably seen today as one of the greatest scenes.
It got me into the movie. Yeah, that's the first thing I saw from it. I was YouTube.
That scene, dude, that scene that between those, dude, that's like the best acting I've seen in.
Well,
I don't know
just
how long.
a note on that movie. There's a few I've tried to trace where that movie comes from, just because it's such a bizarre. Like, where the hell does this movie like this come from? Because there's not much.
Who was the director?
Coens? Same guy.
Damn, I should have taken one of the Coens out, right? Because I have two Coens.
Well,
now.
no, but it shows.
Fine.
But
Think
the thing,
about it.
no. Here's the thing: the Coen brothers. When you want to invoke, like, oh, who's a filmmaker today?
Yeah.
Tarantino, the Coens, Paul Thomas Anderson, David Fincher,
Michael
Denis
Bay.
Villeneuve. Michael, no, he has a place there too, unfortunately or fortunately. But Michael Bay,
M. Night
Um,
Shyamalan, you know, the
M.
M. Night
greatest.
Night-
Shyamalan.
I'm not sure Shyamalan actually makes some good movies.
But
He got
no.
some hitters out here.
If you want to talk a modern canon, that's the canon. Is
Yeah.
Sixth Sense, Armageddon, The Rock, the 1970 like this. Yeah, Michael Bay he's an action director, and he made some pretty like, okay, that's an action movie. But then this is our canon in a way, and yeah, the Coen brothers are probably at the peak of that fucking mountain as like,
Right.
film. No Country for Old Men to me recalls most heavily 2001 for sure, and just how dark it is, and just how abstract it feels, and just how like it's intimidating,
Yeah.
it's forbidding.
Yeah, but it's even during its scenes where nobody's saying anything, you know, just the camera, just there. You can't take your eyes off it. It's just like amazing. You know what I mean? The silence is beautiful.
Again,
in
it's
that
a
movie.
type of filmmaking that I can only really think of since 2001. I don't even like that.
Yeah, I think it was low key.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did it win the best
It
best
did.
picture? It did.
It did, and it went against There Will Be Blood, which was another heavily
Yeah,
Kubrick movie, I'd say.
Okay.
Kubrick's on
Okay.
your list, by the way, but we're gonna get to him.
Oh yeah,
For sure,
Kubrick
for
is
sure.
on my list, I think. Okay. Next, No Country for Old Men, and then it was Taxi Driver. Okay. So Taxi Driver. I recently rewatched Taxi Driver like 2 months ago, and maybe I'm biased, but I'm from New York, you know.
You
And
know,
I
Represent,
love
let's go.
I love the grittiness and I think the following of one person, you know what I mean, the change that occurs so slowly and dramatic. I mean, not dramatically, but slowly, steadily, and then you're just like seeing this guy's morality kind
whoa,
of
who does
shift.
that?
Mhm.
What does that sound like? What show does that sound like?
The fucking Joker.
Oh, Breaking Bad, yeah.
Oh, Joker
Oh,
2, Breaking Bad.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like you can see little hints at what's happening. He was just a normal taxi driver. You know, his view of the world started changing. The city was this like terrible big thing around him, and he couldn't get away from it. He just kind of, you know,
Sunk into it.
sunk into it, and then and it's incredibly influential. The
No,
movie,
well,
too.
it's influential and it's funny too. Is that I think because it's weird because I watched that. I watched that back to back with a Joseph Gordon-Levitt movie he directed. He's only directing credit so far. Don Juan or whatever. It was like a weird like back to back movie day, and then I went to see my grandmother that day too. Like
Okay.
this is when you met me, Raj, and you too, Sheik. This is actually when you met me, junior year of high school. This is when I was getting into these movies. Like that's when I watched Eternal Sunshine. That's where I watched 500 Days. It was all part of
So
that.
these were the movies in your head when we met you.
That's an amazing way to put it. Yeah,
I wonder what was in my head.
you could probably trace it.
Alvin and the Chipmunks Part 2.
That's it.
Hell
Well,
yeah,
that's actually-
dude. The squeakquel?
It's pretty cool. If I could put that on the list too, I would, but I just don't have enough room, so I can't.
Yeah.
Taxi Driver works very well if you're into like Batman, if you're into Breaking Bad, because a lot of the themes run parallel with those shows and those movies. Travis Bickle is some weird combo of Batman and the Joker, basically.
Mhm.
He has the alienation of both. he has a dark character arc of a Walter White.
Right.
Because because I mentioned my grandma because I told her, yeah, I was watching Taxi Driver. That's an old one, and it's like it is, but there's a lot of like stuff in it that someone who's like 16 years old or 17 years old and isn't all that much more pulpy stuff can appreciate.
Yeah.
In a way, I don't think they're gonna get that with like I don't know, like Seventh Seal. But
It'd be funny if your grandma put you on to Seven Seal.
exactly. I guess my point is of all these classic movies that snooty critics love, I would say Taxi Driver probably has the greatest
Mhm.
appeal, even over Godfather. I'd say even over because I think Travis Bickle's. I don't know because I had a tough time with Godfather when I first watched it.
Godfather 2 was easy as hell. Godfather 1 maybe a little harder.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
But
'cause it is
Godfather 2,
dark.
I watched
What?
it. I thought it was amazing.
Why is
Yeah.
that? Do you think?
because it's just a
Ah.
linear story, right? It's just
Yeah,
like
I
all
thought
right,
it
this
was
is
much. I
a
mean,
flashback,
probably
whatever.
because I liked Robert De Niro's young character a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's half the move. Well, I think he's actually more of a third. I think.
Yeah,
I don't know
it's
what
like
the ratio
I
is.
remember, and the story doesn't need to catch up so much. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to
No.
tell so much of a story because we already know all the characters. So it just
Right.
delves straight in. I guess that's why
Right.
I fuck with the second one. But anyways, next, I realized I never said Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction is a really good one too, but we
Yeah,
won't
I-
talk about that.
Is that on the list?
No, it's not. Memento's on the
Oh,
list.
man,
I almost put that on my list.
Well, Memento is
Yeah.
it's a great movie too. Very cool concept. Very very
Yeah.
creative concept. It's like
noticing a trend.
guy can't-
You're a concept movie guy.
I think a
kind
lot of
con-
us are. I think
Yeah,
most
I
people
think so
just,
too.
I don't know. It's hard. No, Memento's an amazing. We're gonna tell our movie backwards, and it's gonna have
Yeah.
there's a reason why we're gonna do it backwards too.
And that character, dude. How crazy do you how creative do you have to be? Like, oh, he forgets everything, right?
Yeah.
And he has to tattoo everything on his arms and body just to remember how to do things
Wow.
to get re-angry to get
Right.
to realize his purpose. He
Yeah.
has to wake up every day, realize his purpose. You're trying to find the killer of your no spoilers, but I mean that's not a spoiler. Trying to find the killer of your wife because you can't, what is it, like every 15 minutes you lose your train of thought
Mhm.
and you have to that's such an amazing idea to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
in
then
a
you're
weird
telling the story
way.
backwards. You're kind of engaging the watcher,
Yeah.
and the watcher has no choice but to be watching the screen and paying attention, enjoying the movie. They can't be like looking at other things because right away they would miss something and the movie would be ruined. It's just, to me, a great overall concept. Yeah. Anybody want to add anything? No.
Oh, no, I was
just-
just gonna say. Oh, sorry, Paul.
Either way, it
oh.
doesn't matter.
Well,
I
what
was
are you
just gonna
Sheik?
say, in a weird way, it like explains how memory works too. Because
Yeah.
even if you don't have that, like whatever brain function he
Yeah.
has,
Yeah.
like all your memories are just memories of old memories, right? So you're
Yeah.
just remembering like one thing that's just like an image of another thing and so forth.
So what happens if
I
you
thought
lose
that
it?
was exact. And like, what if the original image was altered, right? And I was like,
Yeah.
It's
but
such
it's
a cool idea.
cool concept, great concept.
It's a really cool
Um,
idea, man.
Well, wait, just two things really quick. One is so Nolan loves Sheik's favorite writer, Jorge Luis Borges.
Oh, word?
That's
Yeah, that's
that's
my boy.
sort of the idea that's sort of it was
That's my
Jonathan
boy right
Nolan's-
there.
So it was Jonathan Nolan's idea, and that came from him in a psych class, and he kind of had the idea of like, oh, what if you just forget? Like, he had the idea of the main character from a psych class, but I have to imagine the Borges is somewhere in there. It's also a film noir, by the way. Classic
Yep.
example of film noir. And yes, its ultimate point is, like, I mean, if you ever wondered, I have to imagine. I think Sheik more than maybe all three of us. Like, you make the same mistakes over and over. Like,
Yeah.
that's the movie for you, where it's like, because
That
the
is-
guy, he chooses
that's
like,
my life.
he's making a mistake. He knows
Yeah.
it, and he's going, you know what? I don't
Yeah.
care because
I
this
mean,
makes me feel
that's
better.
pretty much all human beings right there. You know what I mean?
And
You just-
that's why the movie works. That's what
Yeah.
it's beyond just like, oh, it's a movie that goes backwards. Like, no,
it's like
it's
this
about
time it'll work out. This time it'll work out. This time it'll work out.
that's
you
what
know
he
I mean?
tell that's what that character tells himself every day. And it
Yeah.
doesn't. And
It-
that's why
yeah.
that ending hits you like a
It hits you so
fucking-
hard, dude. I remember when I was watching Uncut Gems, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I could barely watch that movie because it was hitting too deep. It was cutting my soul apart watching Uncut Gems. 'Cause
Really?
I was like, yeah, I was like, I cannot watch this shit. You know?
I think that
Because-
movie does a really good job at stressing you out. And
Oh
I
my
think
God,
that
so
might be
much
why.
stress.
Like
So
they
much stress.
did it so well. Just like, and I like, I'm not even that invested in these characters because they're not great characters. But like when he starts like freaking out, you start freaking out all the time. They do that
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
It's a
Okay.
thriller. That's the fun of a thriller. So
Okay.
which Memento is, by the
Next.
way, too. So
Yeah.
Memento is
Memento's
a thriller.
What's
Mm.
next, Raj?
Next is Old Boy.
Old boy.
A movie
yo.
Paul has not watched, but me and
Dude.
Sheik have watched.
Nah, Raj put me
amazing.
on to Old
Older
Boy.
Boy.
Fucking so good.
Yeah.
So good. Go ahead.
Yeah,
It's
that
fun.
movie is lit as fuck, dude. So it's a Korean film, right?
Mhm.
And there was a time, like what was it 2 years ago, I was looking for movies and I was getting sick and tired of American movies, right? I was like, I gotta expand my, mind or whatever. And then I was starting to I was searching Netflix, right? And I watched what was it? I think it was Train to Busan, right? I think that it's on
Yeah.
Netflix. And I was like, and thing is, when I think of Korea, I think of K-pop, right? I think K-pop, it's really bad, shitty, not shitty, but bad pop music. You know what I mean? Very manufactured. So when I put on Train to Busan, I was expecting something like manufactured or whatever the hell, right? And I put it out, and I was so surprised at how well made the movies were, right? And this put me in a journey to find other Korean and Asian and Japanese artistic movies and shit, right?
Yeah.
And then I found Old Boy. So Old Boy, I really liked Old Boy because of the main character. I mean, as soon as I saw the picture, I was like, yo, this guy, I liked his how crazy his hair was. I liked his, whole like tough guy fighting style, you know what I mean? So I watched it, and now I realize that story is just a masterpiece of a story,
No, I
It's
can't.
just-
Like, I couldn't stop thinking about it.
Dude,
Once I
yeah.
watched it, I had to show like 3 other people.
Dude, fucking
like-
me up.
And it was a great like little like it has such a good story where it's like, oh, this dude gets fucking kidnapped and trapped in a room
Yeah.
for 15 years. He gets
Yeah.
out, and now you got to find out
Yeah,
what.
it's conceptual, Like,
Yeah.
conceptually, it was amazing. And thing is, it's another thing where you have to put the clues together. I realize a lot of my movies
Another
are
noir.
about putting clues together. Isn't that crazy?
Another
Well,
I
mystery.
just
it's
got
a
Eternal
mystery.
Sunshine, Big Lebowski, No Country for Old Men.
The two most popular
Ah.
genres of fiction are mystery and thriller and suspense.
Yeah,
Well, no,
Yeah.
because that's actually something. Yeah, it's basically this is the definition. It's two things. I'll say as a writer again. As a writer, I struggle most with suspense.
Yeah.
Because I don't watch movies with
Yeah.
suspense at all. That's not something that really interests me.
I mean, it is weird because like, yeah, my list isn't like centered really like around that.
Right.
But I guess I'll get into that when
Well,
I'm
suspense, it's curiosity, and it's concern. That's
like
that's
the
yeah.
ones I'm into are very like adventure. Like, all right, this is a journey. Like,
Me too.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
me too, for sure. It's adventure. It's I actually I did a little quiz because I was then as a writer you think what kind of stuff should I be writing, and it's true. It's like after a certain point, it's like what stuff should you be writing? I guess like what's the genre most suited to what I should be doing with my writing time.
Mhm.
And it came out as drama, but the thing is, like I don't know, I do like Star Wars to me. It's a drama. It's not an adventure story. It's a drama. Lord of the-
I'd classify it as a Yeah, I'd classify both of them as like a little journey movie. But I guess yeah, that's me too.
If you, it's father and son. It's Vader and Luke. It's not about like Luke going on, beom beom beom. It is, but it's like that's the way to get to. No, I'm your father. And I'm gonna save you, Dad. No, you're gonna be just like me one day. Like that's a drama thing. That's not an adventure thing. But yeah, no, I mean, I looking at you, I have yours in front of me. There is a difference between that and adventure. It's two different genres, but more popular than I'd say they're both pretty popular, but mystery and suspense are also popular, which Old Boy does very well because think of it,
You don't know if it does it well or not.
Yeah,
Paul.
you're just talking
Get
out
outta
of your
here.
ass.
just from the
Get outta
here.
just from the
Hey, get out of
concept.
here.
Just from the concept. There's a guy, he was in a room for 15 years. What does that do to a person? How fucked up do you get by being in a room for 15
they
years?
show it in the movie. Yeah,
There's
you get pretty
but
fucked up.
that's
Yeah.
but that's concern. That's concern. And curiosity is, well, how do you end up in a room for 15 years? That's a mystery thriller. So it leaning towards mystery because Uncut Gems, there's no mystery. It's just literally it's a thriller.
These are events.
There's a mystery. It's like, how does he get out of this? And he doesn't, by the way. But
I realize I do like a lot of mysterious shit. Like a lot of these movies, probably like half or more than half, have a certain mystery around them, and that's why I love it so much. And when it hits you, I guess is that impact of hit, like, oh
wow,
shit.
once you figure it out.
I think that's what makes, and I guess that leads us to the next movie. Fucking Citizen Kane. Citizen Kane's a fucking mystery.
Okay.
It's a mystery, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't know what the fuck's happening. And it hit me so fucking hard. At the end when it was like Rosebud. You know what I mean? I know it was like kind of silly, but it did weirdly hit me.
I get no, once I saw the scene, I was like, oh, okay. Rosebud.
And you know what I mean? I think Citizen Kane is one of those movies where you kind of have to watch it and like be patient with it and let it breathe.
From 1941.
Yeah, you have to kind of let it breathe with you, stay with you for a bit, and like think about it. You know what I mean? Maybe watch it 2 or 3 times or some shit.
Its roots are in Memento and There Will Be Blood. So, and the kind of story it's telling. Like how it plays with memory, you see in Memento, and how it plays with character, you see in
for sure.
There Will Be Blood. Just really quick on note of, because you mentioned Revelations twice now in the past like 3 minutes. Aristotle. So the roots of drama comes literally from Poetics, from Aristotle. I'm sure you've heard of him. I have to imagine.
Western drama.
I think, no, you're right, because there is a that's just Western drama. It runs literally on revelation. That's the word for it, as I forget, recognition. It's called he calls it recognition. Mm-hmm. And it's basically when either you or the audience or both figure out, oh, no, I'm your father. Oh, Rosebud.
Why does this sound like Paul's dirty talk?
Oh, yeah. Oh, you like... Yeah,
you like Rosebuds?
Oh God! If you could only see the Zoom recording, I look so creepy.
Oh, I'm your father.
Oh yeah.
Great podcast, guys.
Oh man. That will never leave my brain now.
Oh.
I'm your father.
Oh.
Okay.
All right, but that's what movies are. But that's when you watch a good movie, that's what it's doing. That's why it's good.
Oh man. Okay.
So,
but yeah, Citizen Kane, amazing. Orson Welles was fucking, what was he, 21 when he made that shit?
25.
Yeah,
25 when he made that shit, bro.
26.
Fucking amazing.
We got 1 more year to catch up to him. That's it.
We'll not. Okay. Thing is, that was an accident. Accidents happen. You know what I mean? He probably
he's known.
He probably
Kinda.
doesn't know what he created either.
No,
He's
he
just
said. I
like-
think either he said that or someone like even Vince Gilligan in an interview.
Yeah.
He said like, "I hope I don't become like Orson Welles, where it's like I make one good thing and
yeah.
that's it."
What
Yeah,
if
I
he
mean-
didn't actually write it? And
Thing
it's
is,
like
Orson Welles
Shakespeare?
had other great movies, but people didn't care about that shit because they're like,
No.
it's no fucking Citizen Kane. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
it's like fucking Illmatic. You know what I mean? He releases Illmatic. Now the man can't release a fucking album because it's like, yeah, I already heard Illmatic. It's like going to
Nah,
the moon
yeah.
and then like fucking no other accomplishment
just go into
matters
space,
after you're
yeah.
in the fucking moon. You know?
I
what
don't know.
mean?
Stillmatic was all right, you know. It's cool.
Yeah, maybe, but it's no Illmatic. Yeah, but anyways, next. Okay, next I got Full Metal Jacket, which is a Kubrick movie. A Kubrick
Yes.
movie that oftentimes people don't talk about its greatness. You know,
It's like the most
Because it's
standard
over-
Kubrick movie, yeah.
it's overshadowed by 2001 and The Shining and whatever.
And Clockwork Orange and
Clockwork.
He got some
I-
hitters, yeah.
He got some hitters, dude. Kubrick.
Well, again,
Kubrick
if you
was
want to
well.
invoke, yeah, it's
Eyes Wide
if you ever
Shut.
want to invoke movies, yeah, it's
Yeah.
Kubrick.
Have you
He's
ever
like,
heard?
yeah,
Have you ever heard of that thing about Kubrick where he would pretty much torture his
yes,
actors
Yeah.
into like anger, so their reactions in the acting would be like legitimate reactions?
well,
to
David
him
Fincher,
just being
yeah,
frustrated with the direction of the film.
David Fincher does the same thing, by the way.
So, dude, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
he
like,
basically, yeah, you do 80 takes on one line.
yeah, he does like 80 takes on one, like, two.
The reason is it basically because both of them hate. David Fincher is supposed to say that. I'm sure Kubrick felt the same way. They hate earnestness in performance, where it's like, whereas Spielberg, he does 2 or 3 takes in a movie.
Yeah.
Where you could tell Nolan does the same thing because it's like, and there's an earnestness to each one. Where it's like
Yeah.
you could tell the guy's trying to perform or the girl's trying to perform. Whereas
Yeah, so
Kubrick
they
and
need to-
Fincher,
They want to get that out. They want it to be like there's a camera in a room somewhere.
Yeah,
right?
you're just walked in on a conversation.
and you could tell
So-
in both of their in all of their films, Kubrick and Fincher. Oh, okay, there's some very like they feel, I don't know. There's a lived-in feeling that you get by doing that. It's just
I mean,
it's torture.
That-
It's
I mean,
torture to do.
I guess
So-
that's why I've never seen a fucking Kubrick movie with bad acting in it, because the acting
No,
is
You get whipped into being a good actor.
dude. I mean, Full Metal Jacket, the opening scene was
Well, they're also very cold movies. So I maybe this is a stupid thing
they're
to
cold.
say.
They're cold movies. They're cold.
It's a,
movies.
yeah, maybe it's a stupid thing to say, but I feel like a warm movie, actors have a lot more to do.
Yeah.
Than a cold like
That's
I,
true.
it's a weird. I use 500 Days of Summer because we just mentioned it. It's like to do those parts for Eternal Sunshine, you have to be emotionally available in a way. Whereas with Kubrick, it's like it's a very different thing. I
How
think.
That is true.
emotionally available do you think Jim Carrey is?
He's definitely very emotional.
dude, very. In that, in
Yeah,
that
dude. He made the
fucking
Truman
movie.
Show. Come on.
Yeah,
Great
you're
fucking
right, you're
movie.
right.
But yeah, Full Metal Jacket. Yeah, I love it. I love the it's kind of strange too, like the two parts. After the first part,
Yeah, no, it throws
just
you off.
switches to Vietnam, and
It's
I
two
didn't
different
know
movies.
why it did that, right? And I still kind of to this day don't know why. It did that,
I do though. I read it once. I read it maybe
Okay.
3 times.
What is it?
It's
Okay.
it's a
I don't know if-
what
yeah.
the fuck was it? I read a reason why they did that, but it's sort of like it's the lessons learned from part 1 and you see it
Yeah.
in part 2 kind of thing.
Yeah, they
Possibly.
weren't doing
Like-
it just to be assholes.
No,
but they
it's
were
like,
doing
okay.
it to
Well,
be
no,
assholes.
part one is how do I make the perfect soldier?
Mhm.
And part 2 is what does a perfect soldier in battle? How do they do it battle?
Okay.
Right.
That's the
Okay.
connection between those 2 parts.
What does the perfect soldier do while he's out there? Yeah.
Right.
So
So that's the connection. It doesn't make
Yeah.
much sense to
So
just do part
I guess
one.
I guess it does make sense because they were doing such fucked shit in fucking
Yeah. How does
Vietnam and
that
shit.
affect you in the
And,
war?
like,
Yeah.
they kind of did not care because they were the perfect soldier, right? They were just like kind of bred that way by the military.
Born to kill.
right?
That's what that fucking what is
Yeah.
that helmet says in that? Born
The
to
helmet
kill.
says. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, I thought that was a really cool, probably my favorite war movie, one of my favorite war movies. And lastly, The Matrix.
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 Why?
Matrix, dude. The Matrix, man. I think it's the most original movie. One of the most original movies ever.
I was debating Sheik about, well, not debating,
Yeah,
talking
we were
about
just
it
talking about it.
because it's a ripoff of, it's not a rip. It's, I don't know. It takes a lot from a ton of different religions, but the big one
really?
is, yeah, it's called Gnosticism, which is basically
Well, you can like take away its originality. Like just to
well,
bring
yeah,
in
no,
those
Yeah.
religions and to like
Yeah,
No,
but
you're
it's
right.
tie
original.
into tech. Yeah.
Right. It's, but yeah, so if you ever want to get into the Matrix and where it came from, look up Gnosticism. It was it's tied into Christianity and its roots. It came up at the same
Yeah.
exact time. So okay, all right.
Gnosticism is a very deep topic. That'll be we can do that.
I'll
in our
sum it
religion
up very
podcast.
easily because okay, so if
Hmm.
Tupac was Jesus, the Gnostics were like, give me a left field hip hop artist.
What the hell?
What are you
Like-
talking about?
What
Why'd
the-
you
No,
pick
no,
Tupac
no,
out
Why
of
do you
all
say? I
the-
would have summed it up
I don't know,
really
bigger-
well.
Give me
What the hell's a left?
give me a
Eminem.
very mainstream
Yeah.
hip hop artist.
Eminem, that works.
Okay, give me a very like he's really weird hip hop artist. That's
What's his name? Who's just died?
MF Doom.
MF Doom.
MF
sure.
Doom's and Gnostics. That's the best way to
Okay.
look at it. It's very
Okay.
like it's a very alternative way of looking at like a lot of
Okay.
Christian ideas, and it's
The
important
underground.
because the Matrix took it hook, line, sinker. What's the other expression? Lock, stock, and barrel. Literally, just it's the fucking Matrix.
Yeah, I
So-
mean, thing
I
is,
do kind of take away points for doing that. I'll be honest. It's like,
really.
yeah, no, I'm sorry. I just do. It's just
I don't take away points for that, dude.
Two lock, stock, and barrel, dude.
It's just like it's a shameless like you
But
literally just did that.
but did the Gnostics talk about the Matrix?
yes,
We're living in a simulation.
yes.
In a
They
way,
did.
it's
Yes.
different. It's different.
No,
it's-
Did the
It's supposed to
Gnostics
be
say
like
that you're putting a thing behind the back of your head and then like,
metaphorically, yes. It's all about how the material world
Yeah,
is
but-
bullshit and return to the spirit.
But
world.
thing is, when you're talking about the Matrix, right? There's a lot of correlations to Christianity, more so than any
Yeah.
other thing, right?
no,
Like,
I know it's a
when they're
Neo
talking about
thing.
Trinity, when they talk about
Yeah,
Neo, Neo's supposed to be Jesus, really, right?
yeah.
So it's
It's
kind
a
of
lot
like,
of shit. It takes all these different religions and does what's called the theme park version of them, where it's
Mhm.
like, oh, you're just doing it just to the letter, and not saying anything about the religion.
I don't know. I don't think that's like.
Yeah.
I'm biased, guys. I am biased.
That's
I watched
fair.
that movie. I watched it Buffalo State freshman year. I did the thing where you half watch it and you're half on your phone. So I haven't really sat, but I just don't.
Didn't
It's not
appreciate
to.
it. Plus, you were
No,
in
man.
Buffalo, so you were already in a bad mood. You know.
Yes, no.
That's
You
right.
know why?
wait, so
'Cause
the
my
first
friend-
time you
yeah.
watched The Matrix
Yeah, I was
was
in a
in
bad mood.
college?
Yeah. I don't.
See, I mean, dude, yeah, I mean,
It's
that's a
you
problem.
know,
The Matrix-
You should
Matrix-
fix that. You piece
the
of
my
shit.
ex said this.
The
No,
Matrix
my ex.
blew my fucking
Yeah.
mind the first time I watched that.
No,
shit.
no.
You
Why'd
understand?
you
No.
watch it?
I watched it. So Bridia is my resident crazy mind bending movie expert, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yo, you watched the Matrix?" And this is the time where I just started smoking weed. I was like, "Nah, bro." He's like, "Yo, go home right now and watch the fucking Matrix." I'm like, "Yo, maybe I'll do it." No, watch the Matrix right fucking now. And so I went home and I fucking put the
Wait, he
Matrix
gave you a
on.
wedgie before you went
he,
home, right?
he punched me in the face a
Yeah.
couple times. And I went home, watched the fucking Matrix. And it was it fucking blew my mind. When you was taken into the red pill, the blue pill, you can pretend like everything's fine,
feel
blah
that.
blah. That being said, Matrix 2 and 3 kind of ruined it for
I
me.
know,
But
that's
Matrix 1 was amazing.
What
I
was
wish they
gonna-
just stopped after Matrix 1.
Well, Rajesh, what you said was what my ex told me. Back in 2013, like I saw her for the first time after a month or so. It was a long story, but no, she mentioned the Matrix, like the Matrix, and she's like, "You never want to see the Matrix?" No, I have not. And then the direct quote was, Do you even like movies? Like really?
Fucking
It just
loser.
it just no. Well, it's funny to see you parrot that 8 years later. No, because I'm aware of its places. Like it's like
I see.
it's a definitive. Okay, so what's sci?
If I
what's
have any
fantasy?
criticism for Matrix,
Yeah.
is its CGI really did not hold up well.
Probably.
Its CGI did not hold up well.
So what Lord of the Rings is to fantasy, like modern fantasy, Matrix is to sci-fi, I'd say. So
I see that.
that's why it's again, it's part of the modern film canon that we've been trying to kind of pinpoint. Like what is our canon? Well,
Yeah.
Matrix has got to be fucking there for sure.
Dude, I feel like I took way too long. Did that feel like a very long time?
Nah, I mean we did pick 10 movies. Maybe that was like like
It's
but that's fine. Yeah,
It's top 10
yeah.
lists.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
it's top
no one
10.
has like, what's your top 4? Like, idiot. The top. What are we gonna do? Top 4, you fucking.
I guess yeah, top 5, top 4 would be a lot harder to pick. But
That's why
yeah,
it's 10.
it's one.
Sheik,
All right.
it's your turn.
All right. So like I guess my movies are more like my like comfort movies where it's like, oh, I want to watch something. I don't want to like try something new. I want to watch something that's like I know will always be good. These are kind of the movies that I always go to.
The Notebook, I think, is number 1 for you, right?
Dude, it's fucking Notebook. Hell, what are the other ones? Traveling Pants one. Hell yeah, dude. Those are actually honestly, I kind of those are like fun watches for me. Like if I'm just like trying to go to
the
sleep.
Notebook. Really, the Notebook, because I do kind of enjoy it. Not enjoy it.
It was good. It was a good movie. I won't give any hate.
I won't knock it. I won't knock the Notebook.
I feel like I should watch the Notebook only because I feel like it gets too much hate, and it's probably a good movie.
It's a pretty
good. It's a pretty okay
like
movie.
it's the Notebook. Well, what do you want? Just
Yeah, I also like what's her name, Ryan Reynolds.
yeah, Ryan
Seems like a
Reynolds.
good guy.
He's a good guy.
Ryan
Good
Gosling.
man.
Not Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Gosling.
Oh, sorry,
Who's Ryan
Ryan
Reynolds?
Gosling.
Ryan
I don't know who's Ryan
Deadpool.
Reynolds.
Deadpool.
Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, you know what? I see why.
Sorry,
you
Ryans of the world. There's too many of you.
Yeah. Okay, so
So after the Notebook, what's number 2?
yeah, after the Notebook, I think like my number 1 go-to like comfort movie is Treasure Planet. It's this
I
like
found it interesting when you mentioned that. Why?
Oh
It's
shit,
this-
dude! I know that movie. Is that
Yeah.
movie with the Foo Fighters song in it?
I'm
Maybe.
not sure if there was a weird song in the middle of it for no reason. It's literally based off Treasure Island, but it takes place in space.
That's actually one of my sister's favorite movies too. Treasure
Dude,
Planet.
I fucking love it. It's like this Disney movie that never like got the recognition I feel
yeah.
like it deserved. And it was like they did it so well. Like I liked most of the characters. Like I enjoyed the little like journey story they had. They were really like revolutionary combining CGI and like 2D animation at that time. That was like a huge thing that they blew their budget on. And it's like if you look into like the story of this movie, the top Disney animators at the time that like made fucking, I don't know, it was like Aladdin and shit. This was the movie they wanted to work on. This was the movie they were like negotiating to work on, that they were fighting for Disney to let them work in. And when it came out at the same time as fucking Harry Potter. So no one watched this shit, you know what I mean? Like the only like advertisement it had was for like McDonald's, I think. But it was such an underrated like little movie that I always loved.
Why do you like it?
I think it's the call to adventure kind of story. It's like about this little not an orphan boy, but he's like a poor kid. He's kind of like a delinquent, and he's like he doesn't know what to do in life, and then like some fucking ship crashes into his house, and now he has to do pirate shit. He goes exploring space to look for this treasure.
Wow.
It's really fun. Another one that like recently I've been watching more and more, Into the Spider-Verse.
Well, it's another adventure one then.
Yeah, another one.
I think a lot more. I think it's a lot stronger.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I don't know much about Treasure Planet though. I just wanted to, because my thing. I know. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No,
This is
you're
very
good, Paul.
important.
But
But
we're
it's
meant
just
to hear you talk, dude.
it's like. Do you think when I say coming of age movie, do you
Yeah.
place that genre? Because that's what Spider-Verse is. It's coming of age. Do you think that's a different
Um,
category than adventure?
it is because he does grow up.
Right.
He does grow up by the end of it, and then like becomes. But I think it's different than a coming of age story in a sense that like when I think of coming of age stories, I think of like little teenage kind of like dramas. You know what I mean? Where
Right.
it's like something happened in the summer and they all grew from it or some shit like that.
Well, I mean, it's kind of that, it just happens
Yeah,
that
but
Spider-Man
he
died, and
exactly,
like
or you're going through
it's
space to fucking finding a treasure.
is
It's like I
treasure
like when the stakes are a little bit higher, you know?
is Treasure Planet. Does that main character go through an emotional change, or
Yeah,
is it he does? Okay,
yeah, he does.
okay. Because I don't know, because I was trying to crack that genre over the summer, like
Yeah.
trying to write my own. And I just had a very
No,
tough time.
if you like as they continue, I just see it's more and more like
Yeah.
very similar themes. Cause yeah, the next one is dope.
Well, why isn't the Spider-Verse on there? Just what did you like that one for?
Oh yeah, my bad. Spider-Verse. I really liked how it paid its homage to the comic books, you know what I
Right.
mean? Where it's like they got the little dots in the background, you
Yeah.
know, like
The
they
bagel
like
sound.
yeah, the
Yeah.
colors are a little like sometimes they like glitch off, so it looks like a kind of like a misprinting, like when the printers the colors don't like match up like perfectly. Like if you pause like any second of the movie, it's a great like still that you could just like print out and have it as posters. You know what I mean? I think like when you pay attention to details that no one is gonna like seriously look into unless like they're like super into it, I think that's what makes a really good movie. It's like, oh, even if you like never see this little bit of the movie, we're still gonna like make it as best as we can. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh, that's fucking that's a great point. No, I did know I think one of the best parts of it is just you see how much love they have for this fucking
Mhm.
character and this fucking like more so than I'd say a lot of these fucking superhero movies. You
Yeah.
could say how much like because that's Lord and Miller, they did that movie.
Mhm.
Or Phil, one of them, I think, I don't know if they're a duo, and if you want to talk adventure and like kid movie stuff, things, because that's kind of Star
Yeah,
Wars is in
yeah.
the same genre, but they're like the masters at this in our current day and age, and they did that movie, or one of them did that movie, and yeah, no, I saw that with you, and coming out of that, it did feel like this is like the perfect like comic movie. It felt like what comics feel like, which is weird because I didn't really grow up reading comics. I grew up with these characters though, like you did. So
Yeah, I mean, same. I didn't like really like
yeah,
read comics like this, but
we get it
it's
through
still like
mythology.
exactly,
Yeah,
and we got it through this movie. Like you know,
video.
it's like
Yeah, I
there
got
you go.
right. I got it through
Yeah,
Spider-Man 2, the game, and Spider-Man 1, the game. So and the cartoons,
that
but
was the shit.
this
Yeah.
it summed it up. But what about Dope? Why?
Oh, okay. So yeah, dope. It's the same thing, like call to adventure. And that's more of a, I would say, like coming of age movie to me, where it's like, all right, here's this like nerdy fucking straight A kid in like a gang infested neighborhood in LA. One day,
Oh,
all
I
of a
think.
sudden, yeah,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
he just like all of a sudden acquires like a bunch of drugs and he has to get rid of it. You know what I mean? And it's like, all right, like you could, it's like, hey, now you put this like nerd into this really high risk situation and he has to have a little adventure to get out of it.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
say this about that. Again, it's funny to see how those three movies are in the same genre: Treasure Planet, Dope, and
Yeah.
In the Spider-Verse.
I mean, like, I'm realizing more and more like that is kind of the media I really like. Like,
Coming of
same thing
age.
with like, no, like just like going on these long journeys and like learning something from it. It's the
Yeah.
same thing with my anime. Like, I love One Piece
Well-
because of that. It's the same. It's like, all right, we're gonna go on this grand adventure.
It's a
Let's
little of the
go.
Jesus stuff. It's a little
Yeah.
Jesus-y.
Yeah. I get
Not too
definitely.
Jesus-y. Well, because the reason is the Jesus thing is it's when you save. It's the Jesus thing. That's the difference between coming of age. Like I do nerd out. This is what when you say Paul. What does Paul do that's productive? It's usually this stuff. And yeah, so Treasure Planet, Spider Verse. Like there's a little more Jesus in Spider. Because with the Spider-Man thing, you're saving the city.
Yeah.
You know, there's with Dope, I imagine. Well, I don't know if he's saving anyone. I haven't seen the movie.
No, I mean that's the
Uh,
thing. Like, I think Spider-Man is really the only one.
It's a
that's
Jesus.
Like, all right, I gotta. Well, there's some other ones. Like, I also have Princess Mononoke.
We're gonna talk. Well,
Yeah.
spoilers, bro. But we're gonna talk about that because. But the thing is, that's the difference between an adventure movie and a superhero movie. Is when the adventure movie, the stakes are just like, do I get this money or not?
Right.
Do I? It's a selfish thing, which is I think why I don't really respond to it that well.
Mm.
Is like I like the Jesus thing where it's like,
Yeah, I
oh
gotta
no,
save the
it's
world.
you got it.
Yeah,
That's the adventure. That's the adventure.
I'm less into the whole like, yo, you gotta. Much rather have like, yo,
Really,
we're just doing
But-
this for
yeah,
our goal
It's
and like,
interesting
because
because they overlap.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's an overlap, but it's interesting how one story goes one way and the other
Yeah.
goes another.
It's the
And
split in
Dope
the
will-
branch.
The thing with Dope too is it's fun to do an adventure story on a low budget like Dope does.
Yeah.
Since if you want to be a screenwriter, that would be my advice. I'm sure I don't know if anyone here is listening wants to be that world, but the best advice one could give is try to tell those stories in a small way as possible, where you can get your adventure movie stuff, but just do it in a really small way. And Dope is probably a great way to do that. Like, okay, let me have my fun with the adventure shit.
Exactly.
But let me do
the
it in my
stakes are in
world.
high, so yeah, you could have
Right.
comedy, you could have all this
Right.
shit.
While doing the exact same fucking story as a giant Star Wars movie. It's the same
Mhm.
story. It's just one is in your neighborhood and one's in outer space. That's the only difference.
Right.
And because the guy who directed it, Rick from Maluka, I probably butchered his name. His first name's Rick. He was gonna do Flash, and now he's doing he did an episode of Mandalorian. He directed it. So there's a line between all this shit, I think.
Yeah,
But
for
that's
sure.
it. Yeah.
All right. So I have I have like 3 more, I guess, like animated movies. Like, I'll just try to like put them all together.
I know. Go
Paprika.
through them.
No, gotta go through them, bro. We can't just do pussy out of this. You gotta do
Okay.
one by one.
I'll explain. All right. So I'll first Paprika, right? I think that was like such a great trippy movie. Like, and I have Into the Spider-Verse, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
so like that is an anime movie. I think it was the original Inception, right? It has the same storyline
Yeah,
as
it's been
Inception, where
accused.
it's like,
Really?
you
Yeah.
go into other people's dreams, and I guess the storyline is a little different in Paprika because it's like a hacker got into people's dreams and started fucking with them there, and you have to go in and kind of like work to save that. But I won't spoil it anymore. I think everyone should check it out. If you're into anime movies, like Paprika, definitely like check it out. Which leads to the other 2. And I'm gonna kind of put them together because it kind of does the same thing for me, which is Spirited Away and Princess Mononoke. I don't know how to say that.
Mononoke.
Mononoke. Okay. Mononoke.
Same
Gotcha.
director.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so same director, Studio Ghibli. I love Miyazaki. I think he does what what happened to Raj?
I'll be back. Keep talking. Just
All right,
keep
cool.
going again.
Yeah, he does such a cool way of not only animating cool dragons and shit or whatever, but also just the backgrounds and the environment. Like, he really makes you believe in the world you're in.
This is both of
And
these movies, right?
yeah, and for sure. Spirited Away is very dreamlike, which again goes to like all the trippy shit I'm into. Um, but Princess Mononoke does it does a very similar thing, but in like
It's
obviously
in a
for a
lot
different
more
story.
like fantasy and epic.
Yeah, that one
Okay.
has more to do with like politics and history, while
Okay.
Spirited Away is more like kind of like a yeah coming of age,
Right.
but you're going
Like
into a dream world.
it's a yeah, no, the
It's
stakes are a lot
exactly it's
smaller.
exactly what you were talking about, where Princess Mononoke, the stakes are yeah the
Okay,
world is
save the
gonna end
fucking world.
because
Right.
yes all this politics got involved and now like the fucking spirit like nature god is gonna kill everyone. Where Spirited Away is like, oh, this girl is like in this like spirit dream world and is like trying to get her parents back. It's all like
Right. Right.
just about her.
Exactly. That's exactly the
Yeah.
difference. Yeah, that's true. It's well, it's I think it's I actually I saw Spirited Away. Like I should probably watch it again. When I was a little kid. My mother, I don't know why.
Same thing. I watched it when I was
Yeah.
a little kid and I couldn't stand it because I just didn't understand. It was just
Right.
like it was very dreamlike and it moved so
It
fast.
made
and it
me
was
feel
hard for
really
me.
weird. I
Yeah.
remember that much. It made me
Yeah,
feel
for
very
sure.
weird and
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah. That I mean it's like I always think of it as like the feeling of a dream where it's like this
No, it
weird
felt like
kind of
a
like
really
melancholy. It's the same thing with Paprika, like Inception in a way too. Like anything that deals
yeah.
with these kind of things, like yeah, it hits a weird emotion that I really like fucking with. Um, so yeah, those are like kind of like my
The
go-to
animated.
like comfort. Like oh, I'll always watch this if I want to like feel good. If I want to watch
Oh look,
something
man,
that I'll
I know on
enjoy.
this podcast, if you're listening to this in linear order, I'm like, oh, but Battleship Potemkin, though. If I'm even saying that right, I might not even saying that right. I could sound like a fucking moron right
No,
now.
I mean like
But
some of these like there's definitely like artistic merit to it. You know,
oh well, my point is, I'm gonna enjoy these movies probably more than Battleship fucking if I
Yeah.
Potemkin. But I also know it's also I do. I wanted to go net. I still kind of do. If I see myself in a field, it might just be animation. So I have an inherent respect for all the movies you mentioned. So that's my end for animation. It's like, oh well, it's like almost like, oh, this is how you do it, kind of thing.
Yeah,
So
I mean, like
yeah.
I there's a lot more freedom with animation where you don't
Well,
have to
there's that
worry
too.
about like budget and like well you do have to worry about budget, but it's not the same as like yo, I gotta buy like 30
You
trucks
can't.
to do this car
Yes,
crash scene.
exactly.
Yeah, you know.
So
Which
which
I
movie
love.
are we up to right now?
I just
Same
finished
shit. Same
Spirited
shit.
Away and like yeah, Princess
Oh yeah,
Mononoke.
dude. Spirited Away is probably my favorite animated movie of all time, man.
So too, man.
I've seen it listed as the best movie of the
Deja vu.
2000s.
Huh. All right.
I
I'm
don't know
not
what it
kidding.
is about that. It's wait.
I've seen it. He fucking died
Raj
again.
is coming in and out. I don't know what's
I
going
don't
on.
know what I mean, but I've seen Spirited Away as like it's been listed as like the #1 movie of like
Yeah.
at least the decade, that first half.
Yeah,
First part of the decade.
there's definitely something to that movie for sure.
Um,
All right, sorry, let's check
fucking
out
Raj.
Raj is getting
Cut in and out.
his PC died. Hold on.
Cut up to
On phone.
electric.
All right.
Yeah, if you can, we're gonna try some podcast
Yeah.
listeners. Let's see how it sounds on phone.
But like
Um,
I'll just finish
Yeah, finish the list.
let's
the
finish
list.
this up. I'm sure Raj wouldn't mind.
No, because I hope.
Yeah.
What if he does? What if he's like, guys?
Like, damn, these are the ones I've been waiting to talk about.
This fucking
It's too bad
assholes.
his computer shouldn't have died. All
What
right.
he
So
gets.
then we got. I put Old Boy up there too. I guess we already talked about why like it's a good movie. With that, I'll also add like another really good Korean
Parasite.
movie, Parasite. Watched that recently. Um, I just love the cinematography. I love the story. I love the character. All the like socio-economic metaphors and shit. It was really good. Like there's nothing I could say about Parasite that like people who can talk about movies way better than me haven't talked about.
Right.
So yeah, I'll just leave it at that. And then we got the Goodfellas. Great little I guess it's is it like little journey movie? It's more of like
Yeah,
all
it
right,
is.
this
No, it
guy's
is.
life, right?
It's 30. No, no, no. It's both. It's the life in it's life in the mafia, but it's life in the mafia for 30 years.
Yeah.
Or something crazy like 20, 30. Yeah, it's definitely he's a kid when he starts out. And then
Yeah.
and then you
It's-
kind of track his
you go
it's
through
you
well,
go
like
through, yeah.
we talked about this. I forgot, like probably in the other fucking episode. But what I really liked about that movie is like the ending, where like I'm
Yes, you're
spoiling
no.
Goodfellas, but
Oh, who
fine.
cares?
It's
It's
like-
part of the canon.
Yeah,
you
when you
idiots.
see like the life he was living, his
Yeah.
punishment at the end was just what was it?
You're
It
you're
was
normal. You're a schmuck
witness
now forever.
protection. Yeah, so
Right.
you're just a regular guy, and like
Yeah,
seeing him like at the well, Goodfellas is a good movie. What can I say?
Well, no, but keep going because that's kind of why it's a good. It's not because
Yeah.
it's important to talk about this because otherwise, because I watched Goodfellas for the first time when I was like 20, and that's because I was like trying to because I was writing. This is for my senior project, which I did finish, and it's for Rajesh texted. Yeah, 2 minutes.
2
He
minutes.
says,
Yeah.
it's that not senior. I had to write a senior project. I had to write a script to graduate college, and my thing I wrote was very like mob movie influenced. It's basically a mob movie in a college kind of thing, and it sounds like a weird pitch. But
Yeah.
the point is, I was okay. Let me watch the mob movies to kind of get influenced by them and see how they did. And I didn't really like Goodfellas at first, and it took a while for me to kind of get it. Same with The Godfather. It took me
Well,
like
is it because it's one of those movies where you like you're not supposed to like the main character? You know what I mean? Where
That's
it's like hard
part
to
of it.
relate.
But it's also like I enjoyed Breaking Bad. I love Breaking like that's
right,
and I've
right.
enjoyed Whiplash.
Yeah,
I couldn't
yeah,
I didn't get into Henry Hill as a character.
I see.
But I don't know.
Yeah, in a way, he was kind of the weakest character
But the
out
thing-
of everyone
but
else.
Until you go, again,
At
that's
the
why it's
end,
important to talk
yeah.
about this because then you realize, okay, that's why it's interesting because he's constantly the whole movie is a battle between do I rat or not? That's kind of
Right.
what he's faced with, and then his punishment, like that to have this guy's punishment be he's going to be a normal dude now forever. That's an incredible character idea. That's an incredible
Yeah.
story idea, and that's why it's like.
And
okay,
I think
man.
other movies like try to explore that kind of ending too, but none of them like hit it the
Yeah.
way I think Goodfellas did. Like Wolf
Yeah.
of Wall Street kind of did, like, oh, he went to jail, became a normal fucking businessman afterwards.
But
it's
well,
like,
here's the thing: he's not
he's
normal.
still
He's a
exactly.
god.
He's still
That's
who
the
he is.
point, though, and
It
that's the
doesn't
point.
work. Yeah.
That's the point of that movie. The point of this movie, though, is yeah, his punishment is you're a normal dude now, and
Right.
whereas other people would be happy with that, you're not because you suck
Exactly.
as a person.
Another movie that I
yeah.
didn't put up here that I think like just how we were talking about Spirited Away, Princess Mononoke has similar story but branches off in different directions. I would put A Bronx Tale in there.
Okay.
Very similar to Goodfellas, where it's like, but it's more a likable character.
Right.
Where it's just this kid who gets introduced into this world of the mob, and you see how it affects his life
You know-
and like
You know,
how he grows up by the end of it.
you know who directed it?
Same dude.
Google right now who directed The
Let's
Bronx
see.
Tale. Google it.
You imagine it's your dad or something.
Just like what, Grandpa?
Grandpa.
What the fuck? That's the way you said it. Like yeah.
Google it. Look.
Oh
Yeah.
shit! It's Robbie De Niro. Oh my god! Yeah, and he was one of the best characters in that movie.
Yeah, that's his
Yeah.
first movie. That was his directorial debut.
Aha. What else? What other movies has he directed?
Well, that's kind of it.
Yo,
Wow.
honestly, 1 for 1, not bad, not bad.
One for one,
Fucking
man. One for one.
Bobby De Niro, let's go.
Bobby,
That-
you know
that-
I'm the really quick fun fact. The
Yeah.
guy I took me a year and a half to learn how to drive, and the guy who passed me was a dead ringer for fucking for fucking De Niro. It was so
Oh,
weird.
shit.
Like a
Were you
really
scared when
nice-
you saw his face?
No, I was like, oh shit. No, I was. You know why? Because I'm like, oh my god, I'm about to disappoint a Robert De Niro lookalike.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Like-
you basically disappointed Robert De Niro.
No, he passed me, bro.
Yeah, you
and he was
got it.
like, yeah. I
Dude, why do you
fucking-
not have a car? Get it? Oh, okay. This
That's
is
a whole
first-
nother topic,
Yeah.
but it's just if we're talking Bobby
that's
De Niro.
that's a different Zoom call.
If we're talking
Okay.
Bobby De
That-
Niro, that's my relation to Bobby De Niro. It's
I
like,
think-
oh, he
Yeah,
passed me.
I just have one more on the list, and that's Shawshank Redemption.
Why?
Right? Great. Just
Wait, okay. I mean, Shawshank Redemption is. Yeah.
yeah.
it's a-
Yeah, again, like same pattern. Regular fucking dude ends up
Doodle-
in this. Now he's in jail. Well, I actually no. I think it's a little bit deeper than just like, all right, call to adventure. Now I'm in jail. Now I'm gonna escape jail. It's there's so much going on in that movie, which I really appreciated. Very cool story. The characters all like hit you different ways. Yeah, I don't know what to really add. With Shawshank.
Morgan Freeman was pretty lit.
Morgan Freeman was great. Like all the prison shit, how he escaped, like loved it. And like it deals with like how prison life does affect these inmates, because once
Yeah.
a lot of the movie was about once they got out of prison and like what they had to deal with, like all right, I've been institutionalized for so long and now
Yeah.
I'm thrown into the real world. I'm supposed to like
Yeah.
bag groceries and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, Shawshank Redemption is one of those movies that I feel like literally no one can hate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
Like,
one
how
of
does
those
one
where it's
hate
like every
Shawshank?
time, like
Yeah.
if someone said like suggest it, I was like, all right, yeah, fuck it, we'll watch it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a really gripping fucking tale, you know, of
Mm.
and some scenes in it still, you know, stick with me. Like, you know, we know the scenes, but some scenes are pretty fucking crazy in it, you know. They
Yeah.
really. So yeah,
Well, which
Shawshank-
scene specifically? Like I always remember
Was is spoilers fine?
yeah, fuck it. These are all like
those,
you should
like the
watch these
scene
movies
where
by now.
he's about to get sexually assaulted.
Oh yeah. That
That
was
one?
pretty dark. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty dark. And then Morgan Freeman's voice is like, he kept them away, but sometimes he couldn't, or some shit like that.
Oh
means he
my
got
god, that
raped.
made me like cry. dude.
I was like, no.
man.
And then when he was crawling through shit,
Crawling through, like the one that always hit me was when I forgot who it was. The dude got out of jail and then like he just hung himself like immediately, like after like a week or some
Mm.
shit.
yeah. Shawshank Redemption definitely was one of the movies where I started really digging watching films and watching
Yeah.
movies, you know.
I think like
childhood.
yeah, Shawshank and Goodfellas was where I was like, all
Yeah.
right, let me look at like more of these films that everyone keeps
Yeah.
like talking about. Like but when before it was just like, oh, these are the things I'm into, so I'll only watch movies about these things.
You already talked about Parasite.
Yeah, Parasite, fucking like I didn't talk much about it because like I don't know what I can say about
Oh.
Parasite that everyone already hasn't said. you
Yeah,
know?
no, Parasite's pretty cool. Yeah, we gotta put Paul onto some of these Korean movies, man.
Yo, Paul, you're missing out. Like, I'm still. There's some good international movies we gotta put. I think we
yeah.
gotta put him onto Gangs of Wasseypur, bro.
You really think so? That's a
Yo,
5-hour movie, bro?
Dude, I put like 3 people on, and all positive reviews. And Paul, he loves The Godfather, so I really want to see what his take on it is.
On
but
this, yeah.
well, we already had this discussion before.
Yeah, it's definitely Godfather inspired, you know.
I was MIA for like 5 minutes. Sorry about that. I overheard parts of the
worries.
conversation. What's like Godfather?
We got a lot of international movies we want you to check out. One of them is Gangs of Wasseypur, which is like
Okay.
a Bollywood Godfather, which I want you to see. I want you to take on it.
All right.
Yeah, I mean
What
it's
else?
quite long, but oh yeah, and what the dude
And that was it. That
Parasite,
was, yeah, Parasite, Shawshank.
dude
Well,
Parasite.
Good.
Shawshank is okay. So we want to talk Jesus. That's a very Jesus story.
What, Shawshank? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Morgan
he-
Freeman. Yeah, gets saved by Jesus in the
Yeah,
form of Andy.
the lawyer comes in, like helps everyone out.
Do you know who wrote that?
No.
Oh
You
shit.
gotta look it up, bro.
Oh shit.
You're like,
It's
yeah,
your
bro.
auntie.
Shit.
It's my aunt, yeah.
Grandma, fucking, how is she writing all these movies?
Oh,
Yeah,
It's
yo,
a
if it's
weird-
Robert De Niro again,
dude, Robert De Niro's everywhere, bro.
who is this guy? Frank
Well, look
Darabont.
who wrote it. Look who wrote the book that's
Okay,
based
okay.
off of.
Yo, you like Parasite? Yo, who was the main actor in Parasite?
It's
Look
You
it
know who the
up.
main- you know who the main
Stephen
actor
King.
was?
fucking
Oh
Robert
yeah,
De Niro.
I totally
Stephen
forgot this was a
King.
Stephen King movie. Yeah.
No, because
Yeah.
it's so not Stephen King, which I think was the point of why he
Oh
wrote it.
yeah.
Mm.
Oh yeah, this is a
Yeah.
Stephen King. I
Okay.
forgot.
He's
I
the
don't
most-
read much
yeah.
of him, so I wouldn't like.
He's
yeah.
the most adapted writer in Hollywood, like ever.
No, yeah.
I mean,
I
because he
guess
does
so.
write the best horrors ever.
He does. He got some good
Um,
horrors. Yeah.
But no, well, shit. So Shawshank is in some way an epic. It's like this good and evil story, you know. Which is I watched it once, like literally my first like 3 weeks of high school. So that's my memory of that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a good and evil story. It's very small. For me, I don't know, it felt really gritty in a way. Like there's this
It was
line
very gritty.
I remember this line where it's like, yeah, they put one of those guys in the wheelchair or something like that. Just some really brutal, like, wow, what a brutal thing to do. So, you know, I'm gonna put you in a wheelchair.
Yeah,
I-
without it being like fucking
gory.
like
but
yeah,
just-
without it being like fetishy about like beating
Yeah.
the shit out of it. It was just like nah.
yeah, I'm gonna
this-
put you in a wheelchair.
yeah, like this place is fucked up. You know
Right.
how bad it is. Like that's it.
yeah. So that's kind of it's what I was saying. And I don't know, it's just and it's all about hope and stuff. And you know, it's a very timeless tale. Which is again why it stuck around. I think it's number one in IMDb or whatever. See, it's like it cycles between I think it cycles between 4 different movies, maybe 5. If I had to guess the IMDb,
Yeah,
top
yeah, for
5,
sure.
I'm gonna take a guess right now. It's probably in some order. It's Dark Knight, Pulp Fiction, Godfather,
You definitely had got like a bank heist movie in there.
probably
For The Escape.
Shawshank, right? The Escape.
I thought you were saying like Shawshank is like a bunch
Oh,
of movies
it's a-
put into one.
It is a bunch of them. Yo, you're kind of right. It's a lot of different plot elements that come together to form one great fucking story.
Yeah, because it's like parts of it
Um,
is like drama, and then like
Right.
parts of it is like, all right, this is gonna be a fucking escape, all that plot.
Right. Yeah. It's and that, again, that's why it works. Yeah, it's probably like Shawshank, Empire Strikes Back, Godfather, Pulp Fiction, and Dark Knight. It's
Mhm.
probably like it's a very like teenagers and 20-year-olds movie group.
Yeah, yeah.
For sure.
exactly
but
what I
it's the
saw it.
list. Well, no, but it's the list. But again, so and that's the end of your list.
Yes, and that's
Well,
yeah,
That's our canon, guys.
that's exactly that. Those are the movies we're into. I don't know. I don't know how interesting people will find like, all right, who the fuck are these guys and like why should we care about
Well,
the movies they
no,
like?
the fun of it is I don't know. It's a where I think we did go over. I think we went into like this is like our
No, I
don't
mean
know how
that's
long
like when you talk about your favorite movies, like this is
what's the fun
how
of
it's
it. You
gonna
kind
take,
of
yeah.
hope. Yeah, you can't because I did imagine again. It's a spoiler alert to the audience. I was imagining this. Yeah, it'll be like a 20-30 minute episode, but it would
we always say that.
Dude, how
would-
long
I
has
kinda
it
like-
been? I can't even
like
tell.
2
all
hours. I
good.
think hour and a half.
2 hours.
Hour and a
We're
half
trying to
at
make a
least.
shorter. We're trying to make a shorter
The
one.
Yeah,
thing
we were
is-
trying for
longer.
45 minutes today.
It
Um,
would have been shorter if we had just went. Okay, what's your list? Okay, cool. What's your list? Okay, cool. What's your
Yeah.
list?
Yeah,
We
maybe
wouldn't-
we should
yeah.
have like stuck to like 5. You know?
Maybe we
Oh,
should
well.
time
Oh,
Well,
well.
no, it would have
Whatever.
been good. It would have been good to know like 10, but you just can't talk about them. But then if you
Yeah.
can't talk about them, what's the fun of doing this? You know.
Here's
what's
the
point?
thing about this podcast. we don't give a fuck about our audience. You know,
Well,
we're gonna
where are they?
listen. No one's gonna listen to this except
I'll
maybe our
s-
friends.
Yeah,
Right?
I could probably like fucking start like screaming into the mic and
Yeah.
shit.
And it's like,
Well-
yo, this is what if we don't know
Like-
you and you somehow listen to this and you listen to it all the way up to here, then
Yo, let's just talk about our deepest, darkest secrets.
but
But-
listen,
Like-
the point of that is that was kind of who we are, kind of like what movies we each like, so you kind of know when we watch these movies that we consider like
Here's
that we're
what we're
searching for the
comparing it
greatest.
to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the perspective we're each coming from. And like I think we each had like very different like style, like
Yeah.
themes of movies we're into.
Yeah, is it a
Like,
movie that
guess.
all three of us had on our list together?
Well, we had. I'd say
I
yeah.
think
There's
there was,
quite a
like,
few. Yeah.
Was there any
Not
that all
quite a
three of
few.
us? I
Not
think there was
all
like there was a
three.
couple that like two of us had. Like I
Yeah.
think me and Raj
I think
had
none
Old
that
Boy.
all three of us had.
Yeah.
Because if we did,
I-
that would be the
yeah.
greatest of all time.
Yeah, exactly. That would have been the greatest.
I could see Taxi Driver being on my list. I could see We Will Have Eternal Sunshine on the list.
Yeah.
I could see No Country for Old Men being on my list. There's a few others where it's like I could see Lord of the Rings being on my list.
Mhm.
I'd say right now I'm enjoying Lord of the Rings more than anything.
I would see Spirit
like-
Away on my list for sure.
Right.
And
Yeah, that's the thing with a top 10. It changes, guys. It's like it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not
Well,
static.
exactly.
Like
It's gonna
yeah.
move. It's gonna
again, like
change.
right now, I would say
Nothing
Lord
is
of the Rings.
permanent.
Yeah, Lord of the
Nothing
Rings is
is
my favorite thing.
Um,
Yeah.
All right. So the next episode, we're gonna actually watch a movie.
Persona.
Yep, Persona. We're hoping if you're listening, you'll watch along with us. Basically, what we're gonna do is talk a little bit about the movie before we watch it, and then we'll discuss what we felt about the movie afterwards. Is
Alrighty.
there anything else?
That's it, guys.
That's it.
All
Have
right,
a good
well,
night, fellas.
Yep.
We're
take care.
out.
Peace.
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 Peace.